Hey, beautiful soul. You've just tuned into Radio After Rain, where the skies have cleared, the tea is warm, and the heart gets to breathe again. Whether you're healing, growing, or just vibing through the noise, you're in the right place. Let's wander through the softness together. Some stories don't start at the beginning. Some begin in the middle of the mess, when everything you thought you knew unravels, and you're left with nothing but the truth and your own two hands to rebuild. This space is where I lay these pieces down. If you've ever felt like you had to fall apart to find yourself, this one's for you. The day I stopped making myself smaller for someone who couldn't see my worth. There are certain kinds of pain that don't show up as bruises. They show up in the way you stop dreaming out loud, in how you hesitate before saying something too bold, in the way you start second guessing yourself, not because you're unsure, but because you're trying to avoid his discomfort. That's the kind of love I once knew. And I'm calling it love because that's what I believed it was at the time. But in hindsight, it was something else entirely. Something darker. It was controlled, wrapped in affection, insecurity disguised as passion. It was him being most content when I was least confident. It didn't happen all at once. No one wakes up and decides to shrink. It happens slowly, over time. It starts with little compromises, small silences that became habits. I toned down how I talked about my passions because he felt left out. I avoided sharing wins because he never seemed to celebrate them with me. At first, I thought I was being thoughtful, compassionate, a good partner. But the truth was, I was bending myself out of shape to keep a relationship intact that was only surviving because I was playing small. He was never threatened by my pain, only my power. It became clear over time that he was the most loving when I was the most insecure. When I cried about my self-worth, he listened. When I doubted myself, he assured me. But the moment I started to reclaim my confidence, he pulled away. The more I grew, the more distant he became. The more I healed, the more uncomfortable he got. It was like he only knew how to love the broken version of me because the whole confident version didn't need him to feel validated. And that scared him. Because a woman who knows her worth doesn't stay where she's only valued when she's doubting herself. The breaking point. I remember the moment everything shifted. I had just gotten a new opportunity, something I had worked hard for, something I was proud of. I came home with excitement bubbling over, ready to celebrate, to share. He barely looked up from his phone. Said something like, "That's cool, I guess. Don't let it get to your head." And it hit me like a brick. He didn't love me. He loved the version of me that didn't know how to clap for myself. That was the moment I knew. I couldn't keep sacrificing my peace for someone who only felt powerful when I felt powerless. Leaving was the beginning of my becoming. Letting go wasn't easy. There was nights I questioned everything. There were moments I almost convinced myself to go back, Because familiarity can feel like love when you're hurting. But I didn't. I stayed the course. I sat with the discomfort. I faced the parts of myself that needed healing and gave myself space to grow. I journaled the truth even when it made me cry. I surrounded myself with people who reminded me of my light, not ones who needed it dimmed to feel okay in their own skin. And slowly but surely, the fog lifted. What healing really looked like. Healing wasn't pretty. It was unpacking the childhood patterns that made me feel like I had to earn love by being smaller, quieter, more palatable. It was reminding myself every single day that I was allowed to take up space, that I didn't have to explain my shine, that the right person will never make me feel like I'm too much. Rebuilding my mental health. Let me tell you, my mind feels so much lighter now. No more apologizing for existing too loudly. I started waking up with peace in my chest instead of pressure. I began trusting myself again, and my joy, it returned quietly, but powerfully, like it had just been waiting for me to call it back home. If you're tuning in and you've ever felt the need to shrink to be loved, I want you to know something sacred. You were never too much. You were just around someone who couldn't handle your fullness, and that's not your burden to carry anymore. You deserve to be seen, heard, celebrated, and cherished in all your brilliance. You deserve a love that isn't threatened by your power, but is inspired by it. Leaving him didn't break me, it rebuilt me. And just like that, we've come to the end of another page in this journal. If you're going through your own storm, just remember, rain never lasts forever. The sun always finds its way back. Thank you for being here, for listening, for healing. Until next time, stay kind to your heart.